Football has a funny way of keeping people humble. I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys could survive if we drop 3 straight losses.
Are you Micah Parsons?
I mean, damn, you shot from deep and you scored.
Let's go, let's go!
This show is to give you the real deal spill about what's going on in the league, the truth.
We about that life!
Yo, welcome back to The Edge with your boy Micah Parsons, live in your Bleacher Report app. Big win yesterday, right around the corner from the trade deadline. So let's get right into it. Y'all know it was a spicy one, big win over the Rams, and I got a big jersey up there right now. Y'all see it right there from the game yesterday. My man Aaron Donald, the greatest defensive player of our generation, without a doubt. He even had 2 big sacks yesterday. I was admiring his game. Saw some big matchups with Tyler Smith and Zach Martin. But at the end of the day, that guy right there, man, he's truly inspiring. Man, he just does it right, bro. And man, when he goes, the game won't be the same. We're gonna miss him, because that is a true legend. And that just completed my week and everything, because I just got Aaron Donald, one of the greatest ever of this game, and without a doubt, a Hall of Famer. So that's Aaron Donald. That's how I feel about that man right there. If you didn't see my costume, I had to show up as a lion, and I even got this cool custom chain too, because the lion's always hungry. Y'all know it is. Me rubbing the stomach. Something cool. Shout out to my man Christian Johnson with GLD. Does it big for me every time, bro. Really appreciate you. Love you, brother. That I think that might have been so. That was my first time I switched it up. Like the last 2 years of my life, I always been like a Spider-Man because my son loves Spider-Man and things like that. But now we're into these animals, and he loves Black Panther, and now he loves the lion. He's like, I'm little lion. He says, I'm a little lion. I'm trying to wait till I become big lion. But my favorite costume yesterday, I'm gonna say it was the charge from the guy for the Chargers game, who did the above the rim costume. That was pretty dope, and that was hilarious, bro. I laughed like that was, trying to play like my man from the above the rim. So I thought that was pretty dope. My Cubs was also at the game yesterday. I actually do think I play better with my sons there. When my son's there, because I had a good game against the Jets. I had a good game yesterday. When my son's there, it just hits different for me, bro. I don't know if any of y'all know, but when my son's at the game, I feel like I gotta go off. Like he's looking up to me. Like I feel like he's counting everything I'm doing. Like he's like, good game, Dad. Like, I don't know. He just gets so excited. He's like, I want to be just like you. Like, it just means more when he's there. Like, I don't know. I love that dude, bro. Like, y'all don't even understand. He's so happy to be there and enjoy the experience. So I always love it. Anytime he's in town, he comes to the game. It makes my game experience so much better. So I would definitely say I play better with him there. So that means we need to get him to every game, because I got to play with that chip on my shoulder. He's my reason why. He gives me everything, my inspiration, and I love that dude. But let's get right into it. Our big win over the Rams, and we're the first team since 2007 with a defensive TD, a block punt, and a defensive safety in the first half of a game. First, I want to say this, right? We blocked the punt against the Rams last year, I believe, and we had a defensive touchdown with them last year, especially because D-Law scooped it up. So I just felt like with them, I feel like we kind of got their number on special teams and defense right now. Nothing towards Rams fans, but we've been kind of after them. Great matchup. They always play us really well. And also prayers up for Stafford, because obviously he's dealing with that injury and wasn't able to complete the second half. But therefore, we made that adjustment saying we're going to create our identity of who we want to be coming out the bye week. Obviously, we had 2 tough losses before the bye week in the first 6 games, and we just said who we're going to be, because we all know November football really means the most. It goes above and beyond. November, December is where the champions is made, and this is when the heat of the season starts heating up. This lets us know who's going to be in the playoff push, where we're at, and things like that. So that's kind of who we are, and we got a big one coming up this week, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. And I want to give a big shout out to my dog, DaRon Bland, got his 4th interception of the season and 3rd pick 6. And I just want to say this, right? Bland came in last year, somewhere like me, but later round pick, and he just came in with a chip on his shoulder. Obviously, you look at this crazy stat, he has more touchdowns than these top receivers in the league who's going to make a lot of money. Devontae Smith, you could say he's a wide receiver one. T. Higgins, also Tyler Lockett, Jalen Waddle, all great players. Even Calvin Ridley, what he's doing over there in Jacksonville right now. But this man has been playing lights out, truly special, and he has answered the call every time we needed him to step up. And when I say that is, last year when Jordan Lewis went down, he answered the call. People don't want to talk about it, but he needs to be talked about more. He had 5 picks last year as a rookie. I think the only person that was above him was Tariq Woolen, but 5 picks in his first year, and now he's coming back this year saying Trayvon Diggs go down. And now he stepped up, and now he's back outside. He's an interchangeable piece, a key dynamic piece to this defense. I mean, he stepped up in every way when we need him each year. So big salute to you, DB. Keep going, brother. I'm proud to see your growth. Always proud of you. You should have had another one. I'm not going to get on to you too much about that, but you know what I'm talking about. Dak finished 25 for 31, 304 yards, 4 TDs, and that's just my quarterback. And, obviously, when he's throwing that thing to CeeDee Lamb, 12 receptions, 158 yards, and 2 TDs, special things are going to happen. I truly believe this is what CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott is capable of. CeeDee Lamb is a special talent that we're not talking about because he hasn't been getting 12 receptions. I think he can continue this streak just like A.J. Brown, and we'll get into him a little bit later, of this type of high-intense and if you saw, he set records for the most in under 56 games. I was watching the screen. He broke almost every record, over 4,000 yards in 56 games or fewer, touchdown passes, receptions, over 300 receptions. This guy is special. When the ball gets in his hand, you go back to his OU tape. He just knows how to make it happen. And I think this is what CeeDee's capable of when he gets those targets. He's a special talent. He needs to be treated like one. I think they are establishing themselves as an elite QB wide receiver duo. This is CeeDee's second game in a row over 125 when he's received 7 or more targets. So obviously they're trending in the right direction. Keep giving him the ball. Keep feeding him. Keep our guy going because CeeDee's special and he need to be treated like that. Same way as A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, and guys like that. They need their targets. They got to get them in rhythm. That's the only way this offense will get going. That's the only way we'll get going as a whole team, is seeing these guys establish themselves, saying, I'm not here to play games. And it's going to be a great matchup to watch. CeeDee versus Bradbury and Slay this week. Obviously, 2 great corners. But I was, I always got to take my guy, CeeDee Lamb. Love him. That's my dog, and I know he got that dog in his chest, man. Simple like that. On the other side, it was a tough day for QBs. Injuries around the league, including Matthew Stafford and my guy, Kirk Cousins. Many of you may not know, but Kirk Cousins is my guy. And I'm saying that not as we have such a close relationship, but after watching that QB show of who Kirk Cousins is, man, if you know what he puts into the game and how he goes out there performing, the things he goes through, that adversity, how people look upon him, and how tough that dude really is. I truly was inspired by Kirk Cousins in that documentary. It truly showed light on the person he is, the type of player he is, and how he represents the National Football League. So prayers up to Kirk Cousins. Let's give him a moment of silence, because it was truly devastating what had happened to him. And I know he'll speed back. I hope we see Kurt back on that field, because that guy right there is special. And we hate to see that happen for them. And especially that was also a big win for the Vikings. I don't know if anyone saw, but, when he was getting carted off the field, he did not bow his head. He clapped for his teammates. He still supported everyone. That's the type of guy Kurt is. I think it's always bigger than a game of football for him. It's always about others. It's always about, his teammates and making sure they stand up high and they're not losing faith. And God-loving, fearing man that he is, you see it on him and it bleeds through him. So I love to see that. I just saw, another a quote, actually we're not even gonna get into this because the media will be media, that y'all continue to say we haven't established a good opponent. But it's okay. It's the National Football League. I don't believe any team is bad. Injuries happen. People didn't say this when we lost our quarterback in week 1 of last year when Dak had fell out against the Bay, hurt his hand, and we didn't have him until after we played the Eagles at home, and we had to win games without our quarterback. So at the end of the day, we can't solely base everything off of quarterback and injuries. It's football. We got to play through them at the end of the day. So I don't consider injuries an excuse of why we lose. We just didn't execute. We got outplayed, and simple as that. So when people always use injuries and other things like that, man, injuries happen. It's football. It's a rough sport. It's something that we hate to see, but regardless, we're seeing it more and more. So at the end of the day, we got to stop using injuries and things like that as excuses. At the end of the day, it's a National Football League. You got to line up for 60 minutes and play football. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, and that's all it should ever be about. It should be about football and how are you executing versus not executing, and it's simple right there. And I wanted to give my dog of the week. I want to give him a big, and he needs a big highlight because he battled injuries the last few years, and he's not getting the credit he deserves, and that's Danielle Hunter. I think he should be in the race for Defensive Player of the Year. He's leading the league in sacks with 10. He had a sack, 2 forced fumbles against the Packers. I think he should get more media attention. I should have talked about him sooner when he was tied with TJ Watt, and that's on me. I take full accountability for that. But Danielle Hunter needs more. He's battled injuries last year was his pec. The year before that, it was his shoulder. Some crazy like that. But now that he's healthy, and he took the pay cut and proved that he is what he is, and he probably get a bigger deal after than this because he's on dog time, he's on demon time. So congratulations to Danielle Hunter. I mean, keep going. We love to see it. Keep grinding. It's truly inspiring. When you thought that they were rebuilding, when they got rid of Eric Kendricks, when they got rid of Zadarius Smith, and they got rid of a couple other vet guys, they weren't rebuilding. They had their core, and Danielle Hunter is a part of that core, and he's showing like why he's here and why he's still dominant and why Minnesota decided to keep him. So we love to see that. Another guy I would say my dog of the week, and I'm gonna give 2 dogs of the week for offense because 2 special dudes broke records. And the first dog of the week is Tyreek Hill. This stat is crazy. The first player in the history of the NFL to have actually not. He's one of 3, but in the last 62 years, right? To have 1,000 reception yards in the first 8 games of the season. Tyreek Hill, please slow down. We see you in December. I need you to slow down because you might be breaking Calvin Johnson's record by then, which is absurdly. It's insane to think about. You give him another 8 games, he's beating the record already. He's on pace to do something that the league has never seen before. Him and Tua are doing something special down there in Miami. I mean, it's just truly special, and I tip my cap, brother. I really tip my cap. What you're doing right now is bigger than the league. So congratulations to Tyreek Hill, my second dog of the week, and we see him this week, and that's A.J. Brown. When we'll get more into him, I mean, 6 straight games with over 125 yards, man. Like we got to find a way to slow him down. But man, that's another dog of the week. I actually saw his one-hand catch in the end zone. He's trolling. He's truly showing he's truly unstoppable. And right now, Tyreek Hill and AJ got to be 1 and 2 punch, however you want to do it, of best wide receivers in the league. I think he's truly shown what he's capable of. AJ, he's on a different level right now. I mean, it's special what they're doing right there. So congratulations. Those are my 2 dogs of the week, and simple as that. Another big topic that some people are talking about, may not be talking about it. The 49ers have lost 3 straight games since they lost to us. I mean, since they beat us. What I would say is, right, it's not so much as it's Purdy, because a lot of people are saying it's Purdy and things like that, right? It's just, and I don't want to anger nobody, and I don't want to trigger anything, but when things like this happen, right, and it's always easy to blame the quarterback, because when they were winning, it was always Purdy's the greatest, Mr. Irrelevant is this, that, and the other, and it's always a rise and a fall in the NFL, right? At one point, you're always going to be on top of the mountain, right? Dak Prescott, he was on top of the mountain, and as soon as he had a couple bad games, it was like, oh, we'll bring him back down here. Football has a funny way of keeping people humble, right? When people want to go on rants and they think they're bigger than the game and they think they're just better than everyone and they feel like they don't have to do more, tough things happen. And I'm not saying this is an example for San Francisco, but, everyone has to deal with these things in the NFL versus his injuries, versus his adversity, and things like that. Because losing 3 straight and you would be considered a top 5 NFL team, including the talent that you have, is very difficult to grasp. I mean, I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys could survive if we drop three straight losses, right? So I just think San Francisco had to turn it around. They're battling adversity. I think not having Trent Williams and Debo is really affecting the offense. 2 crucial pieces, without a doubt. The protection of Purdy has been down. But also, these are things that we haven't seen from Purdy yet, though. We haven't seen Purdy play from behind. I don't think, it's tough to put yourself in these situations when you haven't been there. I think San Francisco's defense has done a great job of creating turnovers, letting the 49ers run the ball, dink and dunk, not having to really put Purdy in a situation where he has to drop back, where he has to make the quick decisive read, when he has to push down the field. He really hasn't been in those situations, especially because, like I said, their defense has always played strong. And it's always good. And I mean, and your guys may say, oh, well, he played, the first halves or whatever. But when you have the lead or the score is tied, it's a different game of football. When you're in a must-have-it situation, when you're in a must-score situation, those situations where he really hasn't had to face. And we thought we would see it in the playoff game last year against the Eagles, but he didn't have a chance to face that because of his injury. So I think he's just growing experience. It comes with a lot of experience. I definitely think the 49ers will bounce back. They're a great team, without a doubt. I don't think we should bury them for their 3 straight losses, because I do think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. I do think they have great things. They have great players, and I don't think Nick Bosa and Fred Warner will keep allowing this. I think guys will step up. I think big plays will be made. So let's not get too worried about them necessarily. I do think it's something that, it's the NFL. The NFL will find a funny way of humbling you. And that's just reality. I think the 49ers humbled us, and I just think, life humbled them. And it goes like that sometimes. And it goes for a lot of people, just like the Chiefs. People came up here and they got mad at me because I said that about they only were limited to Patrick and Mahomes. Who else would you go outside of? Well, we saw Mahomes sick and had the flu, and it wasn't the same person. So it's truth to this. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but like outside of Travis and Patrick, if Patrick can't be who he is, and I don't think no one's on the caliber of Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to be the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football in the NFL. He's going to break every record. I think he's going to do incredible things in the NFL, and he's able to work with less. He's able to because of how gifted and how special he is. But at the end of the day, you need more. You got to be more than that. And I think Denver had a big win this week over the Chiefs. And they had a long streak of beating Denver. I think Denver's changing things around. They bet on their young guys, and the things are turning around for them. Their defense is showing up. They had played a great defensive game against the Chiefs. So this is special to see out of them. They got 2 wins in a row. Russell Wilson's playing great football. A lot of people blame their loss, but if you look at what's going on, Russell Wilson's in top 5 categories, in QB stats, statistical stats, with Sean Payton. So, I mean, they're playing good football in Denver. They're changing things around. It'll be very interesting to see what they do in this November and December push. Secondly, Joe Burrow played like he's fully healthy against yesterday against the 49ers, and we'll just continue that. 28 for 32, 283 yards, 3 TDs. I remember when people said a lot about them when they dropped 2-3 games. Oh, what's going on with Burrow? What's going on with them? And now they're on the roll. The league is funny, man. You got to build off that. Like I said, there's no champions that hasn't been championship tested, right? They're like, you got to get battle tested. Joe Burrow battled early adversity. I said once he got his calf right, I said once he got grooving, we'll see the same Joe Burrow. Like I said, this is the National Football League. You're going against the best players, and sometimes you're not going to be 100, and you're not going to be at your best in the best moments that you may want to, and that's just the competitors, but you're going against the best competitors in the world, the top 1%, and sometimes people tend to forget that. So Joe Burrow's back on track like I thought he would. I knew Joe Burrow would get back. You could look at from his rookie year to a second year, his third year. It's who he is. He's Joe Ice. Come on, man. Like y'all can't think he'll stay down forever. I'm glad to see him back on track. I'm glad that people stop putting dirt on his name because that's the Joe Burrow we seen in the playoffs. That's the Joe Burrow that went to the Super Bowl and had a chance to win the Super Bowl. So I'm glad to see that. What does this say about the Bengals? It just goes to show you that anything can happen, right? The Bengals were going against that big 49ers defense, who we all know has a top 5 defense in the league. And they went out there and put 37. Did anyone have, the Bengals putting up 37 on them? No, but they're loaded with talent. They got all these guys that can go open. Jamar Chase going over 100. That's just the competition that you're facing week in, week out. You just really never know. They just and it just turns the wheel like that sometimes. Well, Burrow fully healthy. Where does that rank them among top teams in the league? You have to put them in the top 7, without a doubt. You can argue it however you want to do it, but their offense and their defense, they might not have the big name stars that the 49ers have or the Dallas Cowboys have or the Jets have, but Sam Hubbard, Trey Henderson, Jermaine Pratt, my guy Joe Osai, they play balls out. Like they play nonstop. They play above the 2.3. They play how the game should be played, and they play aggressive. They play downhill. Logan Wilson, they play the game the right way. Their defense knows how to gel. They know how to come together. They're a hard fought team, and I'm gonna just put it like that. They're one of the most better, well-rounded teams in the National Football League. So they're a top 7 team, however you want to rank it. Just borderline that 5th, 6th, however you want to rank it. Like that. So I definitely think they're a top 7 football team. The Chiefs lost to the Broncos on Sunday. After Patrick Mahomes had the flu. It's tough. Sometimes you want to go out there and have a flu game. Obviously, Patrick don't want to let his team down. He knows how much they need him. So I don't say nothing about Patrick. It's nothing against him. I played the game with the flu and not play my best. It just happens. This just doesn't change who Patrick is and his identity. He will still next week when he's not sick, he'll probably, be as great as he can be. And that was their first win, the Broncos' first win over the Chiefs since 2015. So that's a great win for the Broncos and Sean Payton. I love to see that. Keep going, Bronco Nation. Keep changing this season around. We can't wait to see how this November push hit again. And we're going to get into this one because I already defended Zach Wilson all year, and he came up clutch on Sunday. A lot of people saying the Jets spotted the ball themselves to set up the game-tying field goal because this was big. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first saw it, I didn't agree with this either. I feel like that was one of the quicker ways the refs spotted the ball. The refs did touch the ball, but you could argue it because I remember my rookie year, the ref fully had to grab the ball and put it in place himself. So that was one thing that I thought was a little shaky, especially because I seen it personally where the ref made sure we didn't have enough time. But it is what it is. The ref did touch the ball. He kind of dabbed at it, but it is what it is. I feel like they shouldn't have been put in a situation. The Giants have to finish that game. They got to get off the field. But what does this tell you about Zach Wilson? I tell you one thing. It tells you that he got guts. He has that fire in him. He has that desire to win. He says, I'm not giving up. Since that incident, Zach Wilson has went on a streak of wins. The Jets are now winning games. They're looking good. And if we all saw, Aaron Rodgers is now dropping back. So we potentially might see Aaron Rodgers come January because we seen Cam Akers come back. We seen Cam Akers come back from Achilles 6 months earlier. The Jets are now have 3 straight wins. It's looking very special for them if they could get Rodgers back. He went to the great Dr. Elatrach out of LA. So this thing might have a chance for the Jets. Jets Nation, I wouldn't give up. This looks very special. And as long as Zach Wilson's keep getting better and he's under the influence of Aaron Rodgers, what I knew would help him because vet leadership is so important, especially to a young quarterback. it's going to get Zach Wilson going to be a great backup for when Aaron Rodgers comes back, or even if Zach Wilson has to make this push. That defense is still great. They still have great weapons, and they're looking very good. So I love to see that out of Zach Wilson, and keep proving them wrong, Zach. I know a lot of people said you were trash and you couldn't do nothing with that team. Hey, um, so just keep going. Just keep going, Zach. I know what you're capable of. Um, and that's what it is. And another QB that shined is Will Levis in place of Ryan Tannehill this week. Will, you always know is we are. He was a Penn State guy before he transferred to Kentucky, but 19 for 29, 238 yards, 4 TDs, and a win. That's a coming out party, if you ask me. Will always had a special talent, great arm strength. You saw D Hop with 3 TDs. Welcome back, D Hop. But that's always great to see. It questions of what will the Titans do? I think with Will Levis, I mean, I would think he still need more. You would love to see Will Levis do this early in the season because maybe they keep Will Levis and trade, her Ryan Tannehill to the Vikings, who now need a quarterback, especially a vet quarterback. You never know how that could have looked or what this trade deadline could look like by the end of this week. But let's listen to DeAndre Hopkins after his 3 TD game.
One. They wrote me off. I feel like Gino.
Yeah, I definitely think D Hop is still an elite receiver. I think he haven't get the targets or the looks or the scheme to get him open. Kyler was injured in Arizona. He came into a system where he felt like he could help carry this team. And Will Levis made sure he got the ball. He put in his best receiver's hands. And great things happen when you trust your best receiver. I do think D Hop still has a chance. He's dominated this league for a very long time. Keep giving him a chance. I think this could be a great. I would love to see what they do after this, how they expanded. So D Hop, we looking. Hey, we ain't write you off yet. Keep proving people wrong, because you showing why you deserve to be in this league, and I love to see it. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the trade deadline is tomorrow. What team should go all in before trade deadline? At this point, if you really want to look at it, I think teams that's on the cusp. I would love to see. Obviously the Giants already did a trade. Seahawks made a huge trade. I thought that was important because they wanted more rush, interior rush, and things like that. A team that I feel like, I think we could make a trade. The Cowboys could make a trade to get more depth at O-line, or depth at corner, or D line. You can't get enough, or even linebacker. Missing Van Der Esch right now. But Marquise Bell is truly stepping up. I would love to see. I want to see what the Titans do with Derrick Henry. I think the Ravens could use a trade right now. Go get them a running back, more running back depth. I also think the Chiefs could use a trade. Go get you a medium tier receiver or elite receiver to go with Travis Kelce. And I think those two teams could really benefit from the trades. Grady Jarrett out for the season because of a torn ACL. Prayers up to Grady Jarrett. How bad do the Falcons need Montez Sweat? I think they need him bad. But at this point, after losing Grady Jarrett, losing your interior piece, what's the rush now? You lose that guy, which you would hope would make your D line better. Montez and Grady, inside and outside duo that could have been special. So I think they don't need him right now. I mean, you could trade for him and say, hey, finish off the year, but in the future, this could be a dynamic duo. But right now, they truly might be in tank mode for the Falcons, especially after losing against the Titans. I mean, it's hard to recover from this league when you start the record you are right now. So they could probably use all the draft capital they could get, and they need depth at a lot of positions. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But at the end of the day, next week we got a huge matchup against the Eagles. Last week I said they were the best team in the NFL. Do I still believe that it's true? And yeah, I do. Regardless of what I think or what I say, or I'm not a person that lives in denial. I know what's out there. I see what's in front of me. I see what's out there. I don't think the Eagles play their best football at all yet. I think, they know they're so good that they can beat a lot of teams off of talent. They have the most talented roster in the NFL, without a doubt. I don't care how you match it up. You see how they matched up against the Miami Dolphins, who has a certain amount of talent. They were missing Jalen Ramsey, but I don't think that made like a two jump of a difference. They got talent at wide receiver, running back, DBs. I mean, D line. I mean, they just got crazy talent. Um, you know, so I still do believe they're the best team. But at the end of the day, you still got to go out there, compete, and execute. How does this defense prepare for the tush push? We just gotta go out there and be out more physical. Did you see they fake one? It's just becoming more creative, more inventive, and things like that. So, I mean, you could just say what you want. I mean, I think they're a very dynamic team. It's very interesting to see. Uh, and Jalen Hurts, he may not be playing his best ball. Um, and people would say, is he the QB standard in the NFL? I think, when it comes to leadership and how he prepares and what he puts into the game, yeah, of course. But when it comes to QB, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still the best QB in the NFL. And it's just like, um, but it's gonna be a great game. I'm not giving them no firepower. I just want to go out there, line up, and have a great game Sunday night, and may the best man win. And see who comes off the field victorious. So let's get it. It's gonna be a great game Sunday. Dallas Cowboy Nation, Eagles, one of the biggest rivalries in football. Dallas Cowboy Nation, I need y'all to all stand up, be out there in Philadelphia. It's going down in the city of brotherly love. Come get it. We need y'all. We need to make this a home game. Y'all know how they get. It's going to be loud. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Fans all over. So let's get right to it, Cowboys Nation. I'm going to see you Sunday. Let's take some final questions from the chat. What do you think about Bill signing Leonard Fournette? Great. I think that's a great pickup for them. Leonard's a hard runner downhill, maybe open some things up for Josh Allen. And also pair well with James Cook. I think James Cook is more of like a lightning running back, a guy who can, jet out to the flat, go for the passes. A passing back can do it all. But now he can't carry the load. Give some of that to Lenny and keep James fresh. World Series prediction. Obviously, I gotta go with my Texas Rangers. Game 3 tonight is gonna be very fun. I can't wait to watch it. I hope my Rangers pull it off, and I hope we finish them at home and the Rangers win. Big parade in Texas. The 49ers been losing since they said the F Dallas t-shirt. Karma is crazy, ain't it? Yeah, karma is always crazy. It's always interesting to see how that stuff always plays itself. Like I always say, laugh now, cry later. At the end of the day, nobody has ever won a championship in September. It's all won at the end of the season, and it's definitely won in February. So losing early, learn, battle adversity, and just get better. At the end of the day, you still got to play football. I take a person as you will. They still got to play football. So I hope they didn't forget that factor. I would rather have a 3-game losing streak now than in January. And definitely, like I said, it's not going to change nothing for the 49ers. I still think they're a great team. I still think they're doing great things. When they do become healthy, they do get everybody back. They're a menace. They're something not to be played with. They're a great team regardless. And that's just the key. I think people tend to see people losing, see people failing, and call them so quick to say they're failures or they're not good, or they're so quick to panic. People just can't live in chaos. When you're in this profession and you're so used to, things and adversity, things going bad and things you have to triumph from, you learn to deal with these things. You learn to have to deal with them and live with them. And that's all a part of the game. The game is ugly. It's not for everyone. And you learn that. So, hey, all the teams out there, keep going. All the players that's out there battling adversity, injury, keep going. The game needs you. It's all a part of life. It's all about your story. Every story is not perfect. You're not going to see too many 16-0s and 17-0s. It's just not realistic. It's so hard to win in the NFL, and people don't realize that. So I want to say thank you for tuning in to The Edge with your boy, Micah Parsons. It's always great to talk to y'all, drop the knowledge, drop the hottest tea in the NFL with y'all, and let y'all know what's up. The truth, the real honest opinion, no makeups, no fake stories, and no I don't know my identity tells. And that's just the truth about it. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Can't wait to see y'all next week.